everybody, it's John, your Indian Cine-MANIAC with another 10ish-Minute review. Yes, I'm still in my alternate studio. I'm still trying to work the bugs out on the other camera and computer. So I apologize for the quality of the video. I know it's not as good as when I use the other camera, but what are you going to do? And I want to keep this stuff coming for you. I want to keep, because it's the holiday season here, right? This is my gift to all of you. And all I ask is that you give me your subscription. You get a notification. You smash that like button at the end. Don't smash it now because you don't know what I'm going to say. You might not like it. And share it. Okay, share it. So anyway, I'm here to do another 10ish-Minute review. This time it is a Malayalam film called Jana Gana Mana. It was a 2021 film. So I'm going to do a spoiler section because there are some major spoilers in this. And if you haven't seen it, I don't want to ruin it for you. So I will mark where that moment is. So I'll try to keep it vague up until that point. This was a film recommended by Kylo-wen, and it was on Netflix. So it was an easy find. Now, here's how he sold it. Okay, this is his description of this film. A thought-provoking socio-political, wait, I'm going to try that again. A thought-provoking socio-political thriller inspired from real-life incidents. The film explores the journey of its characters seeking for justice and how the perception of truth constantly changes as new revelations get uncovered. Starring Prithviraj Sukumaran and Suraj Venjaramudo, the film raises important questions about law, justice, politics, and bias, but above all, the impact of sensationalized media. If you are a fan of gripping courtroom dramas, you don't want to miss this one. Now that is a sales pitch. Okay. So let's get right into it. It's directed by Dijo Jose Anthony. As mentioned, stars Suraj Venjaramudo, who was in The Great Indian Kitchen and playing a much different character in this one. And Prithviraj Sukumaran, who I don't think I've seen in anything. And Mamta Mohandas, who plays Saba, who is the character who the murder investigation that's who it is. And you see her in flashbacks, who I think is wonderful in this and a beautiful woman. I know I always say that, but she's beautiful. So this was a strange movie for me for a number of reasons. First, and Kylo kind of mentioned it in the write-up. It's got a lot, and these movies do this a lot about social awareness, whatever you want to call it. But it's anti-police, it's pro-women, and anti-against women to treat it. It's about suicide prevention. It's anti-justice. It's anti-bureaucracy. It's anti-media. So this hits everything. And the movie really is broken into two halves. The first half is the investigation. Then there's the interval. And then there's a courtroom drama. And it's non-linear because they do a lot of flashbacks. And I will say this. I enjoyed this movie much more in the last quarter of the film than I did the first half of the film. I liked it, but it started to lose me a little bit, and then it brought me right back at the end. And that's the spoiler section, which I will get into. But basically, it starts in 2014 where a man just got convicted of something. You don't know what it is. And he's going to jail. Okay. And they show him getting into the bus to take him to jail. Then it flashes forward to 2019. And you meet, you find out that somebody, a young girl, Saba, got murdered. She got raped, or so it was said. And they burnt her up. Okay. So now there's a big investigation, and that's where Siraj comes in. He's the inspector who's brought on to solve this case, and he is relentless. Now, so before we get to that, there's this scene at the university. She was the woman who got killed was at the university. She was a staff. She was part of the staff. So they're doing a memorial for her. And the head of the school, I guess that's what he was. He starts giving a speech about her, but basically trashes her and says it was almost like she got what she deserved. It was really strange. And the crowd of young people are like, because they really love this teacher. They're really upset about this. Well, it ends up that the idea, I think, no, that wasn't idea. There's a young girl who is kind of leading the students, and they make a big point of her putting the scarf around her neck, around her head. Then she walks out to the front of the university, and all these students are out there with her. And then they all start yelling, "Long live the revolution." So something is brewing, right? And it's the students against the cops. And Siraj is trying to figure this out. How can I do this that will keep the peace? Okay. So he's trying to figure out how this happened. And he kind of solves it. And they have 4 suspects. And they round up the 4 suspects. And then something happens to the 4 suspects. And okay. I'm not going to talk about it. Something happens to 4 suspects that starts a whole nother thing, which is it really sets up the courtroom drama. Okay. But before that happens, this cop who's trying to solve this, something happens to his kid. His kid gets in an accident. Now that's a criticism I have. The accident happens off screen, so you don't even know what happened. But you also realize that pressure's being put on him to not look too deeply into this. And they're implying that the kid was hurt because of that. Okay. So there's also, and this is just a side note, got nothing really to do with the film other than a line in it, and why I love the fact that I watch all these films. There was a line in it that said, "Happy birthday to SRK." And it was in reference to something. I don't even remember what it was. But the fact that I knew what the reference was, I kind of had a smile on my face because I know who SRK is. Wait, I got to do back here. Yeah, that's SRK. Okay. Anyway, so now they do the interval. Now we're in court because of what happened to the prisoners. The main cop is being put on trial. So now there's this lawyer, right? And you never see his face. You only see his feet. You see his back until he addresses the court. Once he addresses the court, the camera zooms in on him. That's his big entrance. And now it's a courtroom scene about that. While a lot of people think what happened to the 4 suspects was a good thing, justice for the girl that was killed, others think that because it never went to court, the 4 people didn't get justice because of who they were. So there's definitely a caste system thing going on in this film too, that's touched upon several times. Okay. Now, I found the courtroom scenes, although the actor who played the defense lawyer, I really liked him and I thought he was powerful. But I thought the courtroom scenes were very melodramatic. And what they reminded me of was soap operas. The music, it was like a perfect beat that you'd hit this da-da-da and the camera would zoom in, right? Which is very soap opera. That was a little over the top for me. And Malayalam films are very grounded. And that scene to me wasn't very grounded. All right. So that was my criticism of the courtroom scenes. But his performance, and he really carries that entire scene, is pretty amazing. Okay. And you don't know which side you're on here. If you're on his side or you're on the cop side, okay? Till the spoiler happens. And then your perception of the film changes. So again, I'm going to give this movie, I'm going to give it 4 Ledoux, okay? Because I would have given it 3 till the last quarter of the film, which I will talk about in the spoiler section. But I am going to give it a 4. So if you don't want to know any more about this, just go see the movie, go in with an open mind, and let me know what you think in the comment section, okay? So I'm going to do a spoiler section. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to leave the room or just shut it off, okay? Here we go. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, consider yourself one. Okay, now spoilers. And this is what completely hooked me in. Because what I didn't understand, again, it goes all over the place time-wise. All these flashbacks, all these scenes shot from a different angle or scenes extended. In the spoilers, scenes are extended. So you're seeing things you didn't see in the original scene, which is a little bit of a cheat, but I still liked it. But you find out the prisoner at the beginning of the film in 2014 was the lawyer. Okay. You find that out. What you also find out is the cop set up the cover up. So the girl was killed in a hit and run accident. But to cover it up and to get political points, the cop arranged to have the four suspects take the body, burn it. Now, they kept saying she was raped. And the only people who were saying she was raped was the media. So she was never raped, although they kept saying, okay? So he set the whole thing up, and you find out that he's the bad guy in the piece. But then you find out that he's so racked with guilt over what he did. And this was a question I had because this defense lawyer is so good. I'm like, well, who hired him? How did he get involved with this? And how did he get all this evidence against the cop? It made no sense to me. Well, then you find out the cop gave him all the evidence and steered them to a witness who saw everything that happened. So in his guilt, he was trying to do the right thing. And to me, that twist, first of all, was out of left field. I didn't see it coming based on the investigation. And again, that's why I think it's a little bit of a cheat, because they showed you things that you didn't see in the original scenes that give more context to what he did. Okay. So, but that's my criticism, but I still, the twist is what made this film for me. So then you find out the lawyer, why he wanted to get involved. The bureaucrat that told this cop to do this stuff is the bureaucrat that put the guy in jail in 2014 and set him up, by the way, set him up. He was innocent. And his wife ended up dying. Now, I don't know how his wife died, but everybody in this film commits suicide. Okay. Idea commits suicide. I think the wife might have committed suicide. Well, the suicide thing came out that, every 15 minutes, someone in India commits suicide. And I'm like, so obviously it's a big thing. And it's part of academia too. They put so much pressure on the kids. That was the theme of that also. So there was a lot of social messages coming into this film. So I can imagine from your perspective, it had a lot more meaning than it would have for me. Okay. Now, as strictly a moviegoer watching this movie, some of that stuff didn't resonate. Okay. But like I said, it's like 2 different films, the first half and then the second half. But the spoilers, the twist at the end is what made it for me. And you realize that yeah, the cop did the wrong thing for political reasons, but ended up doing the right thing, even though it put him back in jail. And then the whole thing, the identity of the lawyer was finally given, so he understood. So I did like that. I liked it a lot. So it was a very interesting story, kept my interest, great performances. Again, I've said this before, Malayalam films, I get a little overwhelmed by the music. The music never stops. And sometimes you just need some quiet. But that's me, one man's opinion. Obviously, Malayalam audiences must like that because they do it in everything. So if you haven't seen this movie, well, you must have because you're watching the spoilers. Okay. But yeah, I really like this one. So good job, Kylo-wen. Very different, and the guy from Indian Kitchen, man, I can't believe it's the same guy. Great performance. So that's it. I don't know what the film. Oh, no, I do know what the film I'm going to do next. I'm going to do, this is from Dharmendra Boo 9622, and it's care of Kancharapalam. It's a Telugu film, 2018. So that's the next one I'm going to do for my 10ish minute review. So if you don't mind, now that you've watched it, then you watch the spoilers. Do me a favor. Just take a second if you haven't already. If I haven't earned it, I'm in Studio B. I hope I've earned your subscription. Get a notification so you know when these videos come out. Smash the like button. Okay, a little early Christmas present for me, please. Smash it. And if you think someone might like this, share it with them too. We're trying to build our audience, and every little bit helps. Okay, so that's it. I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and we'll talk to you soon with another 10-inch